Here's some horror movies that everybody seems to like, and I just simply do not. I've tried to like them. I've tried multiple times with some of these, starting out first up with The Tunnel, and this is actually the movie that inspired me to make this list because I just gave this movie a second shot because I'm like, I must be missing something. Everybody seems to fucking love it. It's gotta be me. I still didn't like it. I wanted to love it. I did. This is one where I truly don't think I've ever seen anybody say anything bad about this movie. I've only seen good things. I've only seen people say that it's scary. I didn't fucking like it at all. This one was just an absolute snooze fest for me. Could not get into it. The same goes for a lot of found footage movies that I usually see on the same list as The Tunnel. And I should have known based off my Lake Mungo experience, because that's another one everybody was hyping it. I literally watched Lake Mungo 3 times to see if there was something wrong with me, and I fucking hated it every time. Another one that I always see people talk about that I just found very underwhelming was Butterfly Kisses. Again, same thing as The Tunnel. I feel like both of the plots mix into one for me. I have not given this one a second shot, but on my first time, I simply was just not impressed. And rounding out that found footage category, another one I often see on lists with those two is The Borderlands. I think this one is also known as The Last Prayer or The Final Prayer in other countries. This one was fine. It was probably my favorite of the 3 that I've just mentioned, but I still did not really like it. And people praise this movie and say it's so great. I just could not get into it. Now, this movie, quite frankly, I fucking hate. Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer. I feel like this is another one I've never heard anybody say anything bad about this movie. I can't fucking stand it. I think this movie is so boring and so drawn out. I know it's a classic. I respect it. It's just not for me. Speaking of classics that I still do respect, I really just very much dislike Rosemary's Baby. Don't like it. Just don't like it. I don't think it held up. There's maybe 2 good scenes, and otherwise it's an incredibly drawn out 2.5 hour long movie. I really loved the first Horror in the High Desert, but I really disliked the sequels. In fact, I fucking hated the third one. And I feel like I see so many people who love the series as a whole. They love the second and the third one, and I just don't fucking get it. I wish it kept the momentum that the first one did. Otherwise, I would have loved these two, but they did not do it for me. Caveat, this one came out on Shudder probably a couple years ago at this point, and I remember everybody hyping it up about how scary it was. And of course, I'm already skeptical when people hype things up to be the scariest movie of the year or whatever, but this one was just really underwhelming. It was okay. I didn't hate it. It wasn't bad. It was just there, and it's kind of unmemorable to me. I talk about this one all the time and how I dislike it. I do not like Hereditary. I do not like Midsommar either. If I had to pick one over the other, I would pick Hereditary, but I still just simply don't fucking like this movie. I do not think it is nearly as scary as everybody was hyping it up to be, which I don't think a movie has to be scary to be good, so that's fine, but just the plot itself I thought was way too convoluted. And for me, the only redeeming quality in this movie and what would make me watch it again is the performances, specifically Toni Collette's. Unfriended Dark Web. I just rewatched this one for my podcast. I am a huge lover of the first Unfriended movie, and I usually see people saying that they like this one better. I more often see people saying that they like this one as opposed to the original, and I just don't fucking see it. I do not think this movie's great. The characters are very unlikable to me. It's fine, but I don't understand it when people say they like this one better than the first one. Finally, I have House of the Devil by Ty West. I kind of go back and forth with this movie, and it's not that I don't like it, because there are elements of it that I do like. I think it's visually beautiful to look at, but in reality, the storyline is mostly just her walking around this fucking house. I get it's a slow burn, but this one is too much of a slow burn for me. I just couldn't get into it. And that's it. If you like any of these movies, that is totally fucking fine, because you are entitled to your opinion, and I still respect you. Love you, bye.